Brahmos has set the benchmark on all such missions which will be done from not only from standoff, but times have changed rapidly. We must understand this also.
That's right.
We must understand
Air warfare has also changed.
It's changing rapidly, and therefore Mk-2 is important.
Right.
And AMCA is the answer. The way Pakistan has been mauled in this of Sindhur, this is their reaction. They are going running to China, give us 5th generation, and they will get also, I think, as we go along. By the time it inducts, so I think writing is on the wall that they will have a 5th generation aircraft before we have. In a normal full-fledged conventional war, we would have taken a little more time and taken out some more radars and command and control center. But here we did it near simultaneous.
Yes.
And that's our capability today. That's our capability.
Correct.
Okay. So they were tackled, so to say. It doesn't mean we should not be under the impression that the Chinese systems are all duff. We should not.
Hello and welcome to BharatShakti. Our long format series, BSI Dialogues, is something which brings in specialists for different discussions and topics that are of contemporary interest. And today we have with us Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadauria, former Air Chief and a thinker, someone who's a great proponent of Make in India and Atmanirbharta in defense, especially in aerospace. Thank you very much for joining us here.
Thank you for getting me here, and good to see you again.
Same here. So, you know, why I said that you are a great proponent of Atmanirbharta is because even before you became chief, one of the key assignments that you did was as a test pilot for the light combat aircraft in its very early stages. So tell us the experience and the journey, because we want to start with that and then come into the current situation.
Okay. So on the light combat aircraft, I came into the program after the first 6 sorties. So 7th sortie onwards, I was associated with it, and from I think 12th sortie onwards, I practically started flying also. So that was the phase. And that was a real design and development phase, very critical phase initially, when you are testing the initial systems, followed by initially we used to be in fixed gains. Fly-by-wire is your gains and your ratio of stick to controls keeps changing depending on speed. But that is called scheduled gains. That comes later, the fly-by-wire aspects.
Right.
So it was really challenging. This was the first fly-by-wire aircraft. This was the first digital fly-by-wire control done by our industry, totally by our own people. So the engineers were very cagey and careful. The clearing authorities were careful. The test pilot team was well meshed into with the engineers, design engineers. So it was really wonderful. In fact,
pioneering work, I would say.
Pioneering, and if you really ask me, the best period, so one of the best period in my service career was involvement in that program.
That's right.
Wonderful. And we would need a whole day if we have to discuss, what happened.
Yes,
and how
exactly.
it happened.
Yeah.
But it was challenging at times, and the kind of actions we took, the Aeronautical Development Agency, as flight test team, and all the flight test team was set up by the Air Force. Tremendous. The kind of initiatives we took, the kind of risks we took, and finally the kind of design that was there. Mind you, first fly-by-wire aircraft, fighter, not a single accident attributable to fly-by-wire in this entire history.
Absolutely.
Only aircraft in the world in the fly-by-wire domain for a new development that has this record.
So lots of things.
This was really defining period from my understanding of design and aircraft and systems.
True. So how far have we come on the LCA program now? I mean, what do you think of the LCA currently, and what do we need to improve?
No, LCA came of age almost, I would say, 6-7 years back. That's around the time we inducted, and in fact, we made the first con when only 2 were ready.
Right.
It's because of we changed our entire process and thinking, and as Air Force went all out support for LCA. And don't go by what you hear outside, and this is, I'm telling you firsthand. the kind of support Air Force had given this program from the time of induction as the first squadron.
Right.
Its capability in its class is top class. Be it in air to ground, the kind of results it gave, be it in air to air, for its size and the kind of radar. It has ISA radar now. And Mark 1A, of course, has improved, systems in terms of data link will come up, air to air refueling, good data fusion. So it is a great aircraft. Yeah, if you have to compare, almost to Mirage 2000 equivalent.
Okay.
But times have changed rapidly. We must understand this also.
That's right.
We must understand.
Air warfare has also changed.
It's changing rapidly, and therefore Mark II is important.
Right.
And AMCA is the answer.
So I was going to come to
yeah,
AMCA.
yeah.
Now that we've got this huge bunch of experience of almost 3 decades of developing LCA, then coming into Mark 1, Mark 1A, Mark 2 likely to get off the ground. But all this will be helpful for the advanced medium combat aircraft that India is planning.
Of course, the fundamental technology-wise and industrial capability-wise, LCA Mark 1A, basic LCA and Mark 1A is the fundamental bedrock of technology. Everything will be built here onwards from there. In Mark 2, I think there is a fair amount of commonality of systems to AMCA. So Mark 2 is a stepping stone for AMCA in many ways,
Right.
in some new developments. And since you asked, and because of the delays in the rate of production, etc., and 83 Mark 1A
Sure.
is just about to enter, I also feel that the 97 follow-up of the 83, it is my own opinion
Sure.
that we need to review it and possibly shift it to Mark 2.
Mark 2. Okay.
Possibly, because times have changed. The kind of weapons you need today, Mark 2 would be able to carry much better. And Sindhur has shown,
That's right.
what
So
weapons
it's
are.
a very
important
good
today.
suggestion, because then you are leapfrogging actually.
You're leapfrogging because when you do indigenous production, some delays, some this thing, these are understandable.
That's true.
And at the end of the day, it has happened. So
Yes.
let's take stock today.
Correct.
Now that there is delay, now there is thing after 83. Again, this is my opinion. It's not
Sure. Not
Air
Air
Force's
Force's opinion.
It's not something
Okay.
this thing. But I personally feel 97 should shift to Mark 2. We should work a new way that 97 order for Mark 2 is given quickly, so that concurrent production of Mark 2 can start. It makes a lot of difference if your order in place and the D&D is closing.
That's right.
Concurrent production, and that will expedite AMCA. So I think we have to start thinking on those
So
lines.
this is a little innovative thinking and also fast-tracking
Fast-tracking the
technology induction.
Finally, fast-tracking AMCA.
Fast-tracking the AMCA,
Yeah.
which is...
And of course, having 97 aircraft, plus there will be more Mark 2 requirement.
Absolutely.
It will not end in this. More squadrons are already planned.
Correct.
You go ahead with that.
That's a great suggestion. My colleagues also are here to talk to you. That's Ravi Shankar, who is with BharatShakti. Ramananda works on both BharatShakti and Strat News Global. And Amitabh Revi, Strat News Global, you are aware, is someone who does these documentaries, has been to the Rafale Squadron in Hashimara, done documentary on that. So Amitabh, over to you, and then going
Again,
forward.
just taking this thread a little further, since you're talking about time delays, cost overruns, and the period that it takes for AMCA to come in. Like you mentioned, air warfare and all kind of warfare is changing so fast. How do you keep pace with that if it's going to take that long in that period? And what do you do in the meanwhile?
The interim period, what should we do?
Yeah, I think interim period, I'll answer first, taking off from what we just discussed. I think interim period, we need to, firstly, we need to take all measures to speed up the 83 order. HAL just has to get its act together to finally step up the production rate. It's been promised for some time. They just have to do it now and take whatever support, and the government is fully supporting. I think those measures are coming through. That's what I hear. I have a good feel about it. The production rate will come up. But shift the 97 to Mark 2 and put the balance order for Mark 2 quickly. The whole game is shifting towards sensors and the kind of weapons and the availability of information. So data fusion is important. Aircraft to aircraft networks and aircraft to AWACS, aircraft to all other means of information. That network is important. So I think that is the technology, and we have a lot of strengths in all these areas. All that needs to step into previously we used to say AMCA. I would say we need to step all this technological development into Mk-2. So a lot of such capability which we were planning for AMCA, I feel should start now. We should enhance it in Mk-2. It's always complex in aircraft requirement versus this, and industry. You must remember, industry DRDO says Air Force keeps shifting goalpost. If 10 years elapse, the goalposts need to shift. They were used to this 10 years. Air Force used to revise. Now it will happen 5 years, maybe another 3 years down the line. It will happen every 2 years. So the industry needs to realize this, and service in discussion with the industry have to keep revising what is finally coming. Okay, and again, a game is sensors and weapons. Sensors in terms of capability, reach, integration, networking, and weapons in terms of longer range, more agile, more let's say autonomous. There should be no need of even data link towards the end. It should have its own capability to home on, things like that. Then you are safe. AMCA, of course, is a different ball game. There, apart from stealth, we have to start putting. 6th generation is already in. 7th generation is already being talked about. So we should not get worried about it, but get those technologies stepping into AMCA. That would mean directed energy weapons. That would mean huge next level of data fusion, manned-unmanned teaming. So I think platform is what you should look at 5th generation. Technologies and weapons you should look at 6th and 7th.
Which is why I think that's why I asked the interim thing, and I'm sure Ram and Ravi both will have these questions. That this whole debate has been on that should we get F-35, should we get Su-57? Some question you have on that, maybe you can ask, and then I'll go to Ravi.
Among the two planes, let's leave the political part of it out. How would you rank the two planes? Because I think they...
Do we need them first? That's the other question.
I'll start with the easier answer. How do I rank? Both wonderful aircraft. F-35, well established, very hugely, advanced in terms of electronics, data capability, and ability to network. Some of operational features are excellent. Su-57 has come up well. There was a delay, but it's now come up well. If you see the performance, last air show, tremendous performance. So overall performance, but that is closed in performance. Now what matters is weapons sensors. Some of the weapon sensors are not out in the open domain. So you need to look at it. How good are those for both aircraft? So both are very capable, both have GFA. But I think the important question is, which one do we go in for? Mm-hmm. And I have said this earlier, in my own opinion. Again, this is my opinion. You asking such direct question, you'll also get me into trouble. But my own opinion is, at current stage of development and what we target in AMCA, we should not go in for either. Because firstly, it will have a direct impact on AMCA. Whether we may say anything, we'll just get 2, we'll just get 3 squadron, but it will impact. In terms of energy, willpower, confidence, in terms of just, and any stealth aircraft that you get, if you are going to put your own weapon later, it will be a big challenge. You will have to involve that same manufacturer. It will be a long cycle, it will be a costly cycle. So there are things beyond getting a capability.
Right.
Okay. Every time we have been in this, threat, let's just get and match our immediate requirement and we'll see later. And every time it has impacted us industrially. We were not able to develop the next one. So AMCA is what we should focus. It has huge implications. If we are able to develop AMCA, the kind of weapons we can integrate, the speed at which we can integrate, and it will keep changing. It's already changed after Sindhur. It will change again after 5 years. So by the time AMCA comes, we will have the latest weapon. Later on, when we want to include, we will be able to do it ourselves. And don't forget, the world aviation and military aviation moving towards manned-unmanned teaming. Unmanned combat aircraft is another challenge. And if you succeed in AMCA, you will have the capability to develop unmanned stealth combat aircraft. And that combination again would
That
be
spin-off is excellent.
spin-off is excellent. So we should look at. We need to take a deep breath, calm down, stop looking at these companies on FGFA. Just double down on AMCA. Increase the speed. Get to mission mode. Put 20 hours work on this industry. Whoever is involved in this, 2 shifts, 3 shifts. We just have to put it as a national project. All energies towards it. If current plan is 10 to 15 years, we should cut it down.
I think
But
that's
everything.
That's a great thought, because that's what I think Ravi also wanted to check, that now that they have allowed private industry also to participate.
Yeah, I just considering to your reservation of importing fifth generation aircraft, you consistently been backing AMCA program, but in light of the J20, J35, Pakistan is getting sooner than later. How will we meet the challenge? This is the biggest question. This is the moot
Will the
question
private
right
sector
now.
rise to the occasion?
How will you?
All
AMCA is
are-
getting late.
I think both I will answer.
related.
The way Pakistan has been mauled in this of Sindhur, this is their reaction. They are running to China, give us fifth generation, and they will get also, I think, as we go along. By the time it inducts, so I think writing is on the wall that they will have a fifth generation aircraft before we have, because they will beg, borrow, money from here. They may not have enough to feed their people, but they'll have a fifth generation aircraft. Okay, that is a reality coming up. You leave it to the Air Force. Okay, how to tackle? There would be ways of tackling. There would be ways of this thing, and I'm saying don't get a fifth generation. The other domain, if you want to step up, depending upon how fast HL is stepping up LCA production, there may be need of some enhancement of some more squadrons. But on fifth generation, what it would mean, there would be various ways of tackling, and I don't want to go into those technicalities technologies, and I would say Air Force would be able to handle. It doesn't mean that therefore don't have it at all and we should be able to handle for 10 to 20 years. That's not the issue. Issue is that yes, in the interim, some actions will need to be taken, and the actions are the kind of weapons we should have, the kind of sensors we should have, the kind of networking we should have, kind of mitigating technologies and combination of things that we need to have, and rest is the kind of strategies or combat employment that we would do, how we would tackle. But even with the FGFA there, will we do a follow-up of Sindhur? Believe me, it will be done. If that is the short answer you need, there is absolutely no question that
Air Force is confident and they have the capability to deal with it.
Will be confident. Air Force will deliver. Okay, so this is a tricky area. This is a difficult area, but it is also an area where firm decisions and some long-term and hard decisions are required, and we have to just
So now this
do it.
consortium model that they have now talked about, how good or how beneficial will that be?
No, this private sector that you
Private
mentioned,
sector.
I think this is a huge step by the government. It's not an easy step. Private sector was asking for a long time. It's not an easy step, and it has been taken at a time when there is enough time for AMCA to come out. The private sector has enough time to rise to the occasion and develop. So private sector-led consortium is a reality now with this government clearance, and I hope they will step up. So now the ball is in the private sector court to really come forward with a viable consortium and be able to deliver.
Right.
And to be able to deliver, again, they will not be able to deliver themselves. There is a fair amount of ecosystem build-up that is required in this interim.
Sure.
There is a fair amount of I think initiatives that DRDO labs and DPSUs, inherently DPSUs and DRDO labs in some way or the other were in competition with private sector.
Exactly.
It's unfortunate. They have to see it as a national project, and they have to handhold the private sector and lead and guide them towards these responsibilities. The whole issue is that it will bring in the entire industry together. So the core strengths of DPSUs, DRDO labs, and entire private sector, or whichever consortium get formed. So that is how to go.
These things.
And the rest is the kind of budgets that are required. The money should be available in time. The orders or clearances should be in time. Rest everything should move fast.
Should follow
But I think it's a huge step, and I am convinced private sector will deliver.
That's true. Before we move on to Operation Sindhur and future warfare that Air Force should be prepared for, as you look at it, sensors, missiles, long-range vectors, you also were part of the initial setting up an advisory role you had with the UP Defence Corridor. And now we hear that there will be 2 more in the country. If at all it comes, we don't know. But how has that experience been, and has it helped industries to sort of get their act together?
Yeah, I think this action of setting up defense corridor was a great action taken at that time, and it is showing the results now. UP Defence Corridor, I was involved in the setting up process, and the phase 1 is more or less over. Now they are acquiring land for the phase 2, except for one odd place like Chitrakoot. In UP and Tamil Nadu, it has given state support in terms of not only areas where this corridor land has been earmarked, it has been developed, it has been necessary infrastructure has been provided in terms of power, in terms of security, in terms of water, fire, etc. So all this support, that is infrastructural support that is required, and of course there are subsidies, there are other schemes, there is financial support. So it is a big support to the industry. If you're asking what is the result from UP, I know that the figure is now around 60. Industrial setups.
Right.
So 60
they've already set up in that corridor.
They have taken up projects.
Their projects.
Set up production has started around at last noon, I think 8 or 9.
Okay.
Where production is already started, and very soon they will reach 20 by the next year, where production will start.
Right.
And it's the process.
Sure.
Okay.
Of course.
Tamil Nadu is similar story. There was one more thing government did. They made centers for your test centers. So DTIs were created within these corridors.
Okay.
So there are 3 coming up in UP. That is for drones, unmanned aerial vehicles, for communications, and for materials. And similar 4 setups are coming up in Tamil Nadu. And these test facilities is something that the private sector, MSMEs, they've always cribbed about.
Sure.
Because they said that DPSUs don't give them time, DRDO labs don't give them time.
And they can't set up, it's costly.
They can't set up on their own. So it's a big support. I think that will also have a
cascading effect, really. Yeah, that's true.
But I must also say that the industry people who have come to this corridor, they expected some more
naturally
from the setup, because and some of them are delaying setup for that because some people are not financially that stable. So they said, the moment we get orders, we will set up, etc., etc. So that it is a process.
Teething trouble, I suppose.
Teething.
So I need to take a break. Don't go away. We are in a very interesting conversation with Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadauria on Make in India, Atmanirbharta, the journey towards AMCA. And of course, post the break, you will hear him speak about how he sees Operation Sindhur and its outcome. Don't go away. Welcome back. I'm in discussion with my colleagues. Our guest today is Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadauria, and we are discussing the aftermath of Operation Sindhur and lessons learned from them in the part that is coming up. So we were talking about technology or the future of military-industrial complex in terms of aerospace in India. But let's look back a little bit. 3 months ago, Operation Sindhur. It's in discussion. I'm sure my colleagues will have a lot of questions too. But your first thoughts when Operation Sindhur got over, and what the Air Chief just mentioned about downing 6 of the Pakistani aircraft, also damaging much of their infrastructure. How has the Air Force performed in your view?
I think tremendously well. And if you just see the first strike that was done, and I would say not only Air Force, the terrorist targets were struck. All three were involved. Army was directly involved. Navy was supporting. And the fact that you were able to strike 9 terrorist targets within 22 minutes against in an environment where where their Army and Air Force was fully alert, absolutely, because you know what the
to
Prime
say in
Minister
common
said.
parlance, red alert.
Absolutely red alert. Okay, 24/7 alert.
Yes.
And get all those targets. Don't not miss one. And the 2 of those targets which were deep inside were the Air Force targets, and you see the kind of destruction which was immediately available as video proofs and as photo proofs within hours, so to say. So it was a huge achievement. The successful strike on the terrorist target itself. And later on, what happened in terms of when they started taking military action, the calibrated action taken by our side, okay, the calibrated action on the LAC by Army. Air Force, of course, went step by step. Initially only radars, then some control center. But when they really started hitting our airfields in a big way and targeting, and launched even surface-to-surface missiles and air-to-surface long-range weapon, and struck Adam, they targeted Adampur, Srinagar, Udhampur, all airfields right up to southwest. That is when those 9th and 10th action were done. And I think the next brilliant part was that. 9th and 10th.
That's right.
Okay.
Where the
way it
airfields
was
were
done.
targeted.
Those 10 airfields and systems that were targeted, command and control systems, a kind of
Big and small radars.
kind of targets chosen, the
Targets,
kind
yes.
of depth.
That's right.
Sargoda, Rahim Yar Khan, Noor Khan, the control center at Noor Khan.
Correct.
Okay, Jakobabad, Bulari, targeting that hangar where the EWC is
That's right.
parked, and it was their hint that it will be there, and of course it was there.
That's right.
So overall, I think brilliantly handled. Brilliantly.
That's right. So, Ravi, maybe you want to
I just want to ask you because when Balakot taken place, you were there. So, what was the difference Balakot and Operation Sindhur in terms of operations, Indian Air Force operations? How it was different, and what are the lessons?
See, starting difference at Balakot. Balakot happened after Uri, after surgical strikes. So at that time, there was a reasonable element of surprise available with us, because while they would have thought that we might use air power, but they would have never thought that we will use for an in-depth target like Balakot. Okay, so there was a level of alertness on the other side, but the expectation of a deep strike, I would say, was not as high, was there. Balakot was very important because first time air power used after 71 to strike across IB, where our aircraft went across LAC and IB, and not only struck the target, came back without getting intercepted, did not fire on any of the Pakistani aircraft because they were in the air. In a normal operation, we would fire. You would take them out also.
Right.
But again, the philosophy is when you hit terrorist target, you don't hit a military target. Because you want to have a basic rationale that we are going for terrorist target, and thereafter you say this is what we have done. Okay, unless he starts firing. So we don't want to create that. Therefore, surprise and deception was important. So Balakot was a huge success as a uh, as a change of paradigm, as a change of doctrinal shift, that even with this nuclear overhang, even with this conventional strong capability across, you decided to hit a terrorist target so deep successfully. The target was hit, came back without any intercept, and thereafter, next round happened. This time, what major difference was, since we had done it once, they knew that we can do any such thing again. The kind of uh, the terrorist strike at Pahalgam, the kind of strike itself, the kind of mood in the country, that itself would have told them. And Honorable Prime Minister's statement was so clear that we will get the terrorists, we will get the people behind the terrorists, okay, wherever they are. Very clear. So their alertness level was as high as it can be. It was absolute to the full, and as in a war, in terms of their AD alert, in terms of again. So that is one basic change. But we had to do the same thing: hit terrorist target and not target their military, not target their aircraft in that strike, and come back successfully. Okay. The major shift that has happened from Balakot, we used long-range weapons. We used very, very precise weapons, which was in Balakot also. But we used weapons where we could get some videos. We had a good plan of getting our satellite pictures. We were able to give away proof of strike on all 9 targets within hours. Okay, so one, we hit them again successfully, hit them all, and gave the proof. Okay, so that our own people at times start questioning, where is the proof? Where have you hit? Okay, so we didn't want to repeat,
The
give them
oversight
even a
in
chance of
Balakot.
repeat
Yeah.
that a crow was hit or something.
That's right.
So I think that was a major difference. This is military speaking. Politically speaking, I think the major thing was the will to undertake such a mission to this level. To this level, that is strong decision. Absolutely, and then to follow up when they did the military. They started hitting a military target to follow up in the kind of missions we took on 9th, 10th. So this is absolute clear signal to Pakistan to call out the military and ISI that their complicity in terror, and to expose them to the world and to tell the world this is what we'll do. Now no more dossiers. We'll do it ourselves.
Yeah, so the hitting the targets got
so-
important. Amitabh?
Just progression from that only, Marshal, in terms of you saying highest alert, there would have been deception that is used again. Going back to all three, from the surgical strikes from Uri to Pulwama to Pahalgam. So when you go, and now that is a new normal, which means that you strike at a time of your choosing, a place, etc., whenever there is. Pakistan will expect you to do something further. So how does that progress in terms of both sides? I mean,
Yeah.
So
primarily-
technology comes in.
Yeah. That's an important question. I think a lot of people have said, how can we keep escalating? Next time, do we go higher? I would say no need. The level that we have gone this time, whatever we want to target, only those who are stuck, no collateral. Okay. Next time we'll do the same. If something like this happens, we would choose at our own time and this, but we'll ensure that the right target is stuck and it is stuck and destroyed. Okay. It doesn't mean that if we have done 9 now, next time we'll do 11. It doesn't mean that. To my mind, it doesn't mean. It would all be dictated by the situation and by what it warrants. So this bogey of you can't keep escalating and next time it will be higher. No, it depends on the situation. But the fundamental principles have been redrawn that you do a terrorist act, you will be responded to. The people responsible will be punished.
Absolutely.
Strong punitive measures, and it will happen. You need to be militarily strong. You need to have weapons of that nature, and as far as possible. Again, this question was asked: why not hit the radars before hitting terrorists so that you don't lose your aircraft, you don't lose X, Y, Z, all that. The philosophy is when you hit terrorist target, you excise some constraints. Two fundamental changes. One, PMS said that it will be treated as an act of war. This will give us the flexibility to target militarily, let's say aircraft or something on ground, if it comes in the way. But will it be exercised? I would say the Air Force or Army will decide at that time.
Correct. So that option is kept open.
They would still want it not to be exercised and hit only the terrorist target as far as possible. And when we hit the terrorist target this time, there was no loss. Those targets were hit and it was all standoff weapons.
So what you did on 9th night or morning 10th
Yeah.
was the provocation, and you did it so executed it so clinically that you first targeted their air defense systems, radars, and then hitting the target which
which we wanted to hit, and their entire air force was virtually grounded, because by then we had given full operational freedom to whatever we had deployed a combination of S-400, this, that, and it was now because they had attacked us on our military targets, we were free to attack them. So this is like a conventional full-fledged mission,
and that is the highest level.
That is the highest level. So we are fully capable of executing any mission, depending upon what the situation is. What situation
demands. Was demonstrated there. Any question on S-400 you wanted to ask? Perhaps?
We keep talking about the American systems like Patriot and other systems as well. But compared to that, I'm told the S-400 is a much better and much more practical thing to have, also less expensive. But is there any reason at all for us to want the Patriot system?
No, I don't think we want it. But Patriot is a capable system. Let's put it that way. To what extent it is comparable, there are figures that are Patriot in itself is a very capable system. For us, when we have got S-400, whatever we need and for our environment, S-400 is just delivering everything. Okay, we have some other systems. We have built our some AD assets, etc., which naturally fits in. Okay. We also have some legacy aircraft which are from Russian origin. So as our AD setup and as our
integration is easier.
Combat employment and combat assets, I think S-400 is a very good choice. And leaving aside cost, I don't think there was ever a time that Patriot or something was discussed or even taken up with them, or was offered or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But let's discuss the Chinese air defense system or the Chinese hardware or assets given to Pakistan. How have they performed in Operation Sindhur?
See, they were fully integrated in their air defense.
Right.
And we were able to beat it thoroughly on 9th and 10th. 9th and 10th is the classic way of undertaking such missions and doing. In a normal full-fledged conventional war, we would have taken little more time and taken out some more radars and command and control center. But here we did it near simultaneous.
Yes.
And that's our capability today. That's our capability.
Correct.
Okay. So they were tackled, so to say. It doesn't mean we should not be under the impression that the Chinese systems are all duff. We should not.
No.
Okay. They are in their own way. For example, the HQ-9 systems, some of their missile systems which are
PL-15s,
300 kilometers, 400 kilometers.
Yeah.
Pakistan has up to 300. Their PL-15, especially the version which was provided to Pakistan.
Extended one. Yeah.
Extended one. So these are the latest systems which we must study very carefully, which must be happening. Even the PL-15 is I think, from capability wise, there's a lot of overhype in some articles, etc.
Sure.
Because you find the number of PL-15s that were found on ground. So there were a lot of misses, lots and lots. And there were a lot of maneuvering that would have taken place, or electronic warfare measures wherein more would have been lost.
Right.
Finally, good or bad is calculated depending on how many launched and how many finally able to kill. So I think we should study that the systems carefully and keep planning ahead. We should not just discount. But as far as their availability to Pakistan is concerned, I think it was well catered. PL-15, there were some elements of, I think, some unknowns as it emerged quickly as it was implied. But overall, what we did on 9th, 10th, you saw the result.
Excellent.
So 9th, 10th, everything was available with them. They were already fully wanting to employ. We did everything. So next time, what will happen is 9th, 10th was the trailer for the next time.
Right.
And we will tackle all this that is with them.
Which will come in
very effectively. So we did not worry about it.
Right.
We need to start planning for the next one.
Correct.
And the next one is that they will get their, some maybe stealth. They will get some more air-to-ground weapon. They are desperately wanting some, and that is what we need to plan. We need to start planning for that, and we need to have our own weapons,
Sure.
indigenous.
So a word about air launch Brahmos. I mean Brahmos itself.
Oh, Brahmos, I think, was absolutely
Game changer.
S400 and Brahmos was show stealer. Absolutely. The Brahmos has set the benchmark on all such missions which will be done from not only
Standoff.
from standoff, but it is a weapon from our own industry. It is a weapon which is already getting upgraded. We had 300 kilometers, we did upgrade it to 450. There will be a further upgrade. There will be a further new generation which is coming up.
Sure.
You can change the sensors, you can change other capabilities. So this is a class of weapon which will give them, sleepless nights. Both Pakistan and our northern adversary. This is one. And we must develop it further to make sure that they don't sleep.
That's right.
Apart from this, our other weapon development and sensors, I think, should catch up. But Brahmos is great. Brahmos on Su-30 again is something that Air Force did as a Air Force.
You started it, I think. You initiated
one
it.
of the ACS that time when we initiated this
Yes.
as a Indian mod, as a mod by HAL
Right.
in those years, and see how successful it has been. I see it that such capability will be put onto other aircraft also, other platforms. So you can have Brahmos on many platforms in the future.
Correct.
And that is why Mk-2s are important. That's why AMCA speeding up is important.
Sure.
These new age weapons need to go into this. So we did not worry about other noises being made. We should look at what really matters. What matters is a long range weapons, precision weapons. You should survive the environment. You should survive the distance, and it should electronic warfare.
Be precise. Yeah.
So this is what we need to do.
That's true. So yeah.
Well, I just wanted to ask you one more question. As the Indian Air Force strength is coming down in terms of squadrons, and to tide up this, we did the story today written by Nitin himself that India would seek 2 more squadrons from France, Rafales. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I think that is something that we were saying even earlier, that we should take 3 to 4 squadrons of. We had taken 2 squadrons of Rafale. We should have 3 to 4 more because there will be an interim gap. We could see at that time that LCAs are getting delayed. There would be this gap increasing. Okay, so that is on. I read an article in the paper that there was some discussion on this and Air Force and Ministry, but I'm not sure what hakikat is. I'm not sure what Air Force viewpoint is on this.
But most people may not remember. He was leading the cost negotiation committee on the Rafale.
On the Rafale,
when it was being discussed in 2015-16.
Yeah.
That's
So
why the squadrons are numbered after you.
Oh, the tail number.
the tail number.
One of the numbers.
One of the numbers was after.
Yes.
So anyway, so you were saying about
So what he said, this deal would be linked to the earlier deal.
not
No, it depends. It depends. It would be best that now, if you are doing something like this, it should be make in India. And the Navy is already going in for 2, so it should be a combined thing.
So collaborative things and
put it in manufacture in India to
manufacture
the extent possible. And in any case, get the complete control on the mission systems and mission planning, etc. The complete.
So you are not satisfied with only 2 squadrons, but more squadrons.
The current chief has to be said. My opinion is that if you're taking the overall view, if LCA is getting delayed, for some time we've been saying that there should this number we should step up a little so that there is a little more strength in this bracket, which will also give you a strength to tide over this interim time and target AMCA and Mk-2 earlier. Okay.
There is always a lot of questions to be answered, but time constraint doesn't permit us to go beyond this scope of discussion at the moment. Lovely to have you after a long time. We did these interviews with you when you were serving, and of course there is this considerable gap, but your knowledge, your insights, and your thought process is something that we'll cherish. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Nitin, and thank you, team. It's really wonderful to be there with you.
So that's it on BSI Dialogues. Fascinating discussion, as you would have heard and seen. Air Chief Marshal Bhadauria is a man who's been a very passionate supporter of Make in India, Atmanirbharta in aerospace and defense, and especially for the Indian Air Force, having been a test pilot of the LCA when it was at its inception. So keep watching Bharat Shakti. We'll keep bringing to you such interesting discussions and very knowledgeable guests. For the time being, it's goodbye.